Now we get underway with the fifth and penultimate heat for Junior Rotax. It's Heat 5, Groups A versus D. Let's have a look at the starting grid. On pole position, it will be Kasper Schurmans, and he'll be lining up alongside Kenzo Craigie on the front row. Alberto Kiko Fracassi and Timo Jungling on row number 2. Max Cuthbert and Max Swiderski will be on row 3. Boris Maximov will be running solo on row 4 because Oscar Gushaw will be a non-starter once again. Krit Knoren and Zainel Homosani will complete the top 5 rows. Thomas Behrmann and Tom Strehler will be on row 6 ahead of Olivier Jonkers. Knud Nielsen, Aras Majalskis, Sebastian Koch, Georges Nassar, Antoine Grisel, Ryan Bourguignon, Ben Kaminsky, and from the USA, Charlie Smith. At the moment, we've had Kasper Schurmans win 2 races. Timo Jungling has won 1, and so has Matej Radenkovic. So if Kasper Schurmans makes it 3 from 3, he will be at the head of the intermediate classification after the heats and top the rankings going into tomorrow and put himself provisionally onto pole position for the pre-final tomorrow morning at 11:45. So the drivers line up for their final heat. We'll have one more to go after this as we go through the chicane. Over the crest, into the tram lines, revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? The 5th heat for Junior Rotax gets underway. Good start once again by the pole sitter and also Alberto Kiko Fracassi, who slots into 2nd. Max Cuthbert now up into 3rd ahead of Kenzo Craigie. As it's too wide at certain parts of the field towards the mid-pack and also to the rear going through into turn 4. Now into 5, into the right-hand sweeper here at 6. Fracassi, Cuthbert and Craigie line astern through turn 6. Max Swiderski not too far behind, but there's also been an attempt by one of the other drivers. That was Zain El Homosani, who's made up a couple of positions. He's got through on Boris Maximov and Krit Knoren. And there is one of the KR Sport Carts that has just made a couple of positions as well. That is Thomas Behrmann. Schurmans leads the way, coming out of the final right-hander through the chicane. Over the crest to lead after the opening lap. Fracassi right at his wheel tracks. Just over a 10th behind. Cuthbert 4 tenths off of the race leader. Kenzo Craigie makes it the top 4, covered by 7 tenths as he looks up the inside through turn 4, and Max Cuthbert then nearly wheel to wheel or a bump over the curbs, puts the right rear wheel in the air coming out of turn 4 for Alberto Kiko Fracassi from Italy in 2nd position. Behrmann has already got himself up from 11th to 9th place. And behind him he's got Krit Knoren. Then also the 216 of Olivier Jonkers from Belgium. Ben Kaminsky rounds out the 20 drivers that are still continuing to circulate. Very much single file at the moment. No one really trying to put on a move or so. Schurmans expands his lead. He was just over a 10th. It's now half a second. He puts in the fastest lap in the meantime, 57.719. Alberto Kiko Fracassi, 58.1 seconds. Kenzo Craigie, 57.793. Well over 3 tenths of a second quicker. Max Cuthbert now makes his way, keeps himself in 4th position. Timo Jungling up to 5th. He started down up in 4th position to the 265. Based out of London, Max Sidursky drops to 6th position, which is where he started just 2.5 minutes ago. Zainal Homasani is just behind him in 7th place, followed by Boris Maximov, Krit Knorren, Thomas Behrman, still residing in 9th place at the moment as things stand. Schurman's leads going on to lap number 4. Gap just under 0.6 of a second. Krit Knorren has now retaken 9th from Thomas Behrman. Tom Strehler, in the meantime, has gotten up into 11th past Olivier Jonkers. A little bit of fighting at the back end of the field. As Adas Majalskis battling away. Looks to be with George Nassar. Oh, someone went off the circuit. Now, was that the GKS Lemons power cut of Knud Nielsen? As Tom Strehler goes into Thomas Behrman, they have secondary contact. 4 wide through turn 8 and up the inside. That was the 2.72 of Francis Royan-Bourguignon. Olivier Jonkers was round the outside at turn number 8. 4 wide as Strehler and Behrman came into contact with each other a couple of times. There's the 2.54 of Charlie Smith from the USA, rapidly dispatching Olivier Jonkers through the final right-hander. Schurman's, in the meantime, still has a lead, and he's got himself a little bit further ahead. Krit Knorren, fastest lap of the race, 56.785. And Knorren now up into 9th place. He's got a little bit of air between himself and Boris Maximov in the 2.30, who's up the road. It's a very tight and technical circuit, particularly in the second half of this 1.388 kilometres track here at Marienburg. So the second half of the circuit is really where, if you want to dice with the danger and you're going to make a move, you're going to do it there. Right, change now through into turn number 1. That was for 10th place. Tom Strehler through on Royan-Bourguignon, who managed to get past the pair as they were scrapping away through into turn number 8 on the previous tour. Bourguignon sweeps wide, coming out of turn 4 into turn 5. Linus Cern with the Latvian and also the Brit in the form of Behrman just behind. Time is rapidly fast running out. Kasper Schurman's being slightly closed in by Alberto Kiko Fracassi in the latter stages of this race so far. We'll have one more race to go after this one to conclude the junior Rotax action, which will be juniors heat 6, B versus C. And now a move. It's an attempt from Timo Jungling up the inside of Max Cuthbert through turn 1. The 2.65 from Dan Holland Racing, unable to get through. But he will have maybe a few opportunities. And that also depends on whether Max Cuthbert makes a slight unforced error. A little bit further back, Krit Knorren looking up the inside of Boris Maximov. But wasn't able to facilitate that move for going through. Right, 30 seconds after. So after we cross the start-finish line this time, we'll have 2 laps to go. Kasper Schurman's has just over a half-second lead. As they cross the line this time, 0.385. Fracassi has picked up the pace, 56.942. Krit Knorren in 9th place has just put in another fastest lap. Second on the bounce, 56.785. There's the 285 of Knud Nielsen battling away with RS Competition, Sebastian. Well, not with RS Competition, Sebastian Koch. That is Sebastian Koch from Dams Racing, representing Germany in the 2.14. Timer has expired. So far, Timo Jungling's won a race. Matej Radenkovic has won a race, but Kasper Schurmans is 1 lap away from securing the clean sweep here at Marienborg. 1 lap to go. Schurmans has the lead. 0.3. 57.006 for the Dutch driver. 56.942. For Fracassi, the final lap clearly underway as it's the top, oh dearie me, oh that was wide. Jungling lost the back end. Swiderski got through, and so did El Homosani. So that just goes to show that these drivers are really on the edge of the precipice in terms of adhesion. You make one slight mistake like that, and it costs you places. However, just the right-hander to go, and the chicane. He powers up through the crest and over the hill, over the dip, and it's 3 for 3. Kasper Schurmans does the clean sweep here in Junior Rotax. It might not have been the most commanding of victories, but he won by just over 0.3 of a second at the end of that race. So Kasper Schurmans picks up the victory, winning just ahead of Alberto Chico Fracassi from Italy. Kenzo Craigie finishes, I think, in 3rd position, as we're just waiting for the results to come through. But Kasper Schurmans, it's Max Cuthbert takes P3, Kenzo Craigie 4th, Timo Jungling, Max Swiderski, Zenel Homosani, Boris Maximov, Krit Knorren, Tom Strehler rounds out the top 10. Ryan Bourguignon, Charlie Smith from last to 12th ahead of Thomas Behrman. And there are the rest of your results here at Karting d'Espagne. Ben Kaminski finishing in 20th ahead of Aras Mijalskis. Behind Aras Mijalskis, and Oscar Gutschow, a non-starter, but it is 3 for 3. No one, I repeat, no one will be able to challenge Kasper Schurmans for pole position in the pre-final for tomorrow after that display.